If you're new to Sudbury, it is an affluent, beautiful suburb of Boston. You are surrounded by this cluster of other beautiful, wealthy suburbs between Boston and Worcester. That's the Metro West, kind of this woodsy, small town, New England area, and they all have a similar style. So today, we're talking about Sudbury, what it's like to live there, and I will show you some videos to help you get a sense of what the area looks like. Let's get right to it. Hey, welcome to the video. My name is Jacob Peistrup. So, Sudbury, you've got a population of about 19,000 people out here. Kind of this charming small town vibe. You're roughly 20 miles from downtown Boston, so you're close. You're not super far away, but this is the suburbs, so you're not gonna have a very urban lifestyle. It's woodsy, it's almost kind of rural out here, driving through the woods. Beautiful neighborhoods, lots of these colonial homes, historic town center, really, really charming. And hey, if you're moving to Sudbury or considering an area around it, if you want some help buying a house, buying a condo, send over an email. Let's get in touch. My business partner Richard and I work with clients all the time from YouTube. We are practicing real estate agents. If you want some help moving to Boston, we would love to help you with that. Totally up to you, but let's get right to it. So I feel like I've talked about Wellesley, Weston, Sudbury, and Wayland kind of collectively. They do look similar as far as price. You know, there are some differences. They got their own school districts. Basically, Sudbury is pretty similar. This is a higher priced area, great public schools. You will see higher taxes here towards the rural side of the spectrum. So it's not this mass suburbia feel. It's definitely not the city, but you're not in the middle of nowhere. You do have more privacy, a little bit more seclusion, quieter lifestyle. If you want a backyard with woods as opposed to another house right behind you, you'll find that in Sudbury. You got the town center, which has this very historic New England vibe. So Wayland has a very new town center. Sudbury is very historic. It's very old. It's got that charm of history. So I mean, if you're driving through Sudbury, you're gonna drive past these, historic landmarks, some museums, just like these old colonial houses that go way back to colonial times. So if you're a big history buff, you're gonna love it in this part of town. I mean, just the American history, everything going on throughout the Metro West. I mean, if you stop by Lexington, you're gonna see everything with those historic landmarks. You got a lot of that out in this area. Now, going along with that, being that Sudbury is, more spread out as far as, how the neighborhoods are set up and just, you have the town center and a bunch of roads that stem off of it. You gotta have a car if you're living out here. It's not a walkable area. It's not a very city-like part of town. And if you're trying to commute into Boston and avoid the traffic and avoid driving, you're gonna have the commuter rail, but you gotta drive to get there because this is not a suburb where the commuter rail goes through town. So the closest, depending on where you live in Sudbury, is either gonna be towards the north in Lincoln, or if you go south, you can hop on in Wellesley or Natick, just depending on what's closest to you. Now, if you like the outdoors, you're gonna love Sudbury. Very woodsy, very outdoorsy. You got parks, walking trails, conservation land. There's a lot to choose from all over. So, I mean, throughout the Metro West, like that's not just Sudbury. Again, that kind of cluster out here. Very woodsy, very outdoorsy part of town, especially in the fall. I mean, like this is one of the best spots to be when the leaves change color in, September, October. It is beautiful. If you like biking, rollerblading, taking the dogs for a walk, taking the kids for a walk, going to playgrounds outside, like there's a lot to pick from. And that's one thing that the families we've worked with love about just this area, the stuff to do outside, get some fresh air, take the kids somewhere. It's great for that. Plus, the public schools, phenomenal. That is just another great part about living in the Sudbury area. Now, it's not a huge commercial area as far as things to do in Sudbury. So if you got a huge, list of errands to run, you're probably gonna have to go to Natick or Framingham or even Wellesley if you want. Town center is just a little bit bigger out there compared to Sudbury. You have a Whole Foods, you have some restaurants and stuff, but I mean, if you're looking to just like go shopping everywhere, get a big load of groceries, go get your hair done or something, Sudbury doesn't have a ton to choose from directly in the town center, but you are close to other areas in the Metro West. So that's the one thing with it. Some people will tell you there's not a ton to do out there, which is definitely true. It's a lot of these, residential neighborhoods, the town center, and then you got to drive if you want to go to any, big chain department stores or anything of that sort. The homes you'll see here, beautiful, but they can be on the expensive side of things. So Wellesley and Weston are definitely, the high end of the spectrum. Sudbury and Wayland, by no means are they cheap, but they're not as expensive as Weston, for example. But overall, you're gonna see some beautiful homes. A lot of colonial style out here, whether it's an older, more historic home, or if it's a newer, more custom built. A lot of people, will follow that, traditional colonial style, even with the new construction. And I mean, honestly, comparing it to the areas around it, if you're driving through Wayland, Sudbury, Weston, they look pretty similar. You can't really tell the difference. That's one thing we get questions about a lot. I mean, hey, how different of an area is it? It's not super different. It looks the same. If you like the neighborhoods in Sudbury, you're gonna like it in Wayland, just as an example. They're very comparable. And hey, if that sounds like something you're struggling with, if you want some help narrowing in on the right fit for you, for your family, I get it. The Boston Metro is huge. Send us an email if you want some help with that process. Buying a house, buying a condo, whatever that looks like for you. We'd love to help you out. But other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for this video today. And if you're looking at Wayland too, I have a video on that too if you wanna check that out somewhere right here. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.